Hi, my name is James Flores, and this is my full stack issue tracker MERN project for the fall semester of 2023. A little bit of background on this project is I took this project on to learn how to make a full stack front end and back end website that was responsive with one another and function in different ways for different users with specific permissions. I was able to learn how to use all these different external tools or dependencies to make a website function correctly and look professional. I also learned how to correctly handle errors and search for the mistakes throughout my code in this process. If I were to repeat this project in a similar way, I would like to encrypt more of the data that I brought in directly from the front end to the back end, also implying that I would like to include more overall data, possibly some images or sounds. Here you can see the database that we used was MongoDB. Originally, we had two collections stored in this database, and it was just bug and user. And within those two, we had specific keys in there. Bug started out with just title, description, steps to reproduce, and then eventually we moved on to adding classifications, assignments to it, bug statuses, whether they were opening or closed, comments, and then users kind of stayed the same, had the same parameters with the first name, last name, email, and password, with the roles kind of switching up a little bit. And then eventually we added role and edit collections to the database to track specific permissions for roles for users, and then the edits that are made in the actual front end of the database. And then I was able to successfully deploy this onto the Google Cloud, as you can see here. On GitHub, we started out using all the back end in the back end repository, and then once we did start to move to the front end side of things, we created a new repository for that. And then here in the code, you can see the backend. I have server.js here in a screenshot where you can kind of see the cores in here with the origin starting out where we had it in the local host and then moving on to also including the Google Cloud deployment right there, as well as the auth middleware JWT secret in there. And then in the front end code screenshot, I took a screenshot of just the imports of the app.jsx file I have in here, which include all the other route files that we have come in within the components folder. And then here you have our permissions table, and this kind of changed a little bit sporadically throughout the process of making this website. Now permissions kind of go in a trickle-down factor, as the customers are the new original creation once a registered account is created, and then they are able to see the different bugs, and then developers have the same roles as customers and some, and then it kind of goes up from there. Quality analysts have developers roles and some, and it goes up. And then here's the I'd say my most impressive slide or page on the web page that I created. And then currently logged in is Boogie Smith, who is a creator or has all the roles basically of all the possible roles in the website. And you can see, has the ability to assign, classify, or change the bug status from open to close in this screenshot right here. And what the issue tracker can actually do is, the point of it is to register new users in a database and then be able to log in and log out from the database or the website with those users' informations. Once you're logged in, you should be able to view the list of bugs that are in the database, as well as, depending on your role, edit and update bugs, classify bugs, reassign bugs, open and close bugs, comment on individual bugs, and then also, depending on your roles, view user data, view more user logged information, and then edit the information for the users in the database. Now let's get into the live demo. So as you can see here, when you log in originally, it brings you to the home page of the bug list. And so first loading up this web page takes you to the bug list, which is the home route, but since you're not logged in and you don't have an authentication token, it's going to ask you to please log in or register if you don't have an account. So we're going to go ahead and register as if we don't have a new account. And I'll just go ahead and fill in some of this information. gmail.com. And currently this is all valid information that's being entered in there, but if I make it invalid, then you'll see that errors are handled. So you do need valid fields. If the given name, family name, email, confirm email, password, and confirm password are any of them blank, it will catch the error and throw it before it is registered. If the confirm email or the confirm password do not match the given email or the given password, then they will also throw an error. So as you can see, even though it's going to ask for an address here, because it does not match the email. But if we do have a valid matching email, valid matching password, then we'll register as a customer. And as you can see down here at the bottom in the footer where it says your role, right now we have the role of customer. And customers can only view bugs and view their own personal information, as well as report a new bug. So when reporting a new bug, you must enter a title, a description, and steps to reproduce. So we're going to just call this the new bug and give it a description of this is new. And we'll give it the same steps to reproduce as the last bug, but you can see if we leave any of these fields blank, it's not going to let us into, and each of these has a different requirement. So that is different than if you were to leave this blank. So now it's got to be between 1 and 250. So if you do have valid information on all of these and you create a bug, you'll see it down here in the list, right here, new bug, and it's unassigned. It's created by the user that just got created, and then if you go into the details, as a customer, you can only see the title, description, and steps, as well as the comments. Since this is a new bug, it's got no comments, but if you go over to here to a bug that's already been created for a while, it's going to have a lot of comments, and you can add comments. Just mark what's here, and it'll show you that a comment was added, as well as actually adding a comment to the comment array in the specified bug. Now going back out of here, you can also search bugs by keywords, such as that entire screen is neon green title. If I wanted to search that green, now this is the only bug that's going to come up. And if I go back to nothing, then all the list will come back. You can also search by classification or age that it was created or the status of the bug. So if I wanted all unclassified bugs, now you can see by the badge color being yellow, all the bugs that are currently being shown are all unclassified. Same thing if I go back to none, it's all the bugs. You can also sort. Originally they come in alphabetical order by title of the bug, but if you wanted to search by newest, then now the creation date, whatever one the newest is, would be first, and all the way the oldest to the last down here. Then you can do vice versa, sort by title. So that's customers. Now, however, if I log out and I go into my database, refresh this, and I go edit my new user that I just made, my role, and I change that from customer to developer. Let's see how that changes how we view it in the actual web page. So now if I sign in into the login, now I'm already registered, so I'm going to the login page. You can see back in the bug there's nothing, but if I go to the login, I log in with my new role, Now I'm going to be able to update a bug. Now I can update bugs that are already made in the bug list. So that wasn't there before. So, and now when I go into view details, I can also view, you'll see the assigned to, even if it's unassigned or unclassified or the status is open, I'm still going to be able to see what these assignments are, what the classification is, what the status is. I can't change it, but I can see it. And I can still have all my other permissions as I had as a customer as well. Now, going back out of here, if I want to log out and I go back into this database now and I switch my role from developer, and I go in here and switch it to quality analyst, and I apply that. Now when I log in, you're going to see this user list is now available. Not only that, but when I go into the view details of the bug, now this new button is up here. So now I can assign bugs to different users. And you'll see in the user list, it's kind of the same thing as the bugs. You can search by different things. So if we go look at all of our developers in here, we got Boogie, Brenda, Coop, and James, right? So when we go back to the bug list in here, when I go to view more details and I want to assign a bug, select a developer. We only want to assign developers, so it only grabs the roles with developers. So now we have Boogie, Brenda, Coop, and James in here. And if I want to assign it to Coop instead of where it was before, now it reflects it in here on the specific bug. If I go in here and change it again to James, now you'll see it James. You can go back to bugs and it'll stay like that. And then with the user list, in here you can just see the name, the email, and when they were registered. But if you go click on the more user data, you can see their full name, when they were created, a little bit more information on the specific user. Now, if I log out, I go back into here, and I switch it from quality analyst to business analyst. I go in here and I log back in. Now when I go to view more details, I'm going to be able to classify a bug. No longer can I assign it, but I can classify it, and I can classify it under the specific roles that we're able to classify it under. And every time I change it, it's going to reflect it in here. And every time you change it there, unclassified, you're going to see it changing the badge. So right here it's unclassified yellow, view more details, classify, make it unapproved. Now when we go back, it's red. Also in the user list, business analysts can update users, but they can only update given name, family name, email, and full name. Those are the only information fields that they can edit. Now if we log out, go back in here, switch the role from business analyst to product manager. We update that and go back in. Now, same as before, but when we go to view details, now we're going to be able to change the bug status from open to close. So that's what changes over here. And now we can change what these bugs represent, and that changes the color on here also from green to red. User list, we're not allowed to update the users anymore. And last but not least, if I go into here and I select the technical manager, now if I go and apply that when I log in, when I go to my user list, view users and update users, now I'm going to have the option to change my password. So if if I want to go back to my user list and the user I just created, his password was just password. But if I want to go into update user, so now if I save without adding anything in there and I go back in here, his password should still be password. However, if I go in here to my user list and I change it to something that's within the password requirements, so password 2, it'll update the password. So now when I log out, if I go in here and I try the original password, it's not going to work. But if I try the new password, now I can log back in. Lastly, once you're in here, under the technical manager role down here, if you go into your user list, and I go into my user or any user, you can also switch the roles. So if I want to go in here, as long as I'm a technical manager, if I go in here, I can switch this back to just a customer, and when I save, I get redirected, and once I log back out and log back in, now I just have the customer role again. I can no longer see the viewers or users. When I go into here, I can only see the comments again. So I'm back to customer. And that is my issue tracker lab. Thank you.